Majavai Amapulat Tiranawaan. Welcome to Ita See the World. This July, an award-winning traditional Tahitian dance troupe, Hei Tahiti, visit the east coast of Taiwan, and they are invited to perform at 2023 Hualien Joint Harvest Festival. And today we are very honored to have Tiare Trompette, a very renowned and respected dancer, and also the leader of Hei Tahiti. So Yorana, Tiare.
Yorana, ni hao.
Yeah. So can you introduce yourself to the camera and say hi to our audience first?
Yeah. Yorana, my name is Tiare Trompette, leader of the group Hei Tahiti. Ni hao.
Ni hao. So welcome to Taiwan. Is it your first time to Taiwan?
It's the first time.
How's your feeling to come to this land?
It's an honor to be there, and we are very impressed because it's very big, and we have plenty, how do you say that, in a building for the culture, then it's very important to be there.
Mm-hmm. So, as I know that you are start your career or start learning traditional dance since very young age.
Yeah.
So can you share with us about how do you start this journey and this career?
At 4 years old, then I learned the Oritati first, and at the beginning I danced every day, every time. And I was the best dancer in 1990, and after best couple of the contest, and after I was a leader of a big group Tahiti, and I decided at 20 years old to create Hei Tahiti for the competition first, and now I would like to sharing the culture all around the world.
So can you share with us about how's the style of the prospects of creating this dance group?
The first, we would like to sharing the philosophy.
Yes.
Yeah, because I believe in my group, in all the dancer, because he has a personality, and now it's important to build a dancer with the Oritati, with the story, and with the tradition. Then it's important for me to have a community inside the group, and then we can make one person with all the dancers.
So how do you select the member of the dance troupe? Is there any
I never select because I think that all the person have a place inside the group. You can have a big guy or a small, tall. For me, it's necessary to believe in Hei Tahiti first, to accept the philosophy that.
Yes, that's around how many members right now in the dance?
Right now, I have 60%.
Wow,
every Friday we have the show, but for the Heiva, I can have maybe 200% for the big contest.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, but it's a very excellent and a big experience for me.
As I know that there are many different dance group in Tahiti, right?
Yeah, we have contemporary, we have traditional, and we have a mixed. Then today we have 2 contests. The first contest is the Huratapelu that we can create, and the second is Hei Vaiteti. Then we have some rules, and we have some we need to respect then the tradition.
So I have a question that is Hei Vaiteti is the highest level of the traditional Tahitian dance competition?
Yeah, it's the most event, and this competition is for all the group. Then we have 2 categories. We have amateur and professional. Then you must win inside the amateur category, and after you go in the professional category. But today we have a mix between the old and the new generation.
So can you share with us about the preparation for the Hei in Tahiti? Because it's kind of like the biggest cultural events in Tahiti.
The first, we need to work with the author because we have a team and we make some research. Yeah, no, we must work with the author to first to found a team, okay? And after, the author write the text for the OTA for the dance, and we work, and after with the musician, with the chief of the orchestra, and after we must work with the designer, and we need to prospect with the old, or maybe with the specialist for the team. And when we have all this, we can make the choreography and the dance too. And inside the group, we have some leader. We have a leader for the dance, for the music, for the costume. Then it's a big society, enterprise. It's the same. But we don't pay all the members because we some old volunteers.
Yeah. Volunteers?
Yes.
Yeah. So that seems like they have different role.
Yeah.
Yes.
For me, we have a big organization. That's why I say that it's like an enterprise, because we have a leader.
Yes.
Yeah. And after we have an office when we can consulting, and we have all the members down.
So can you share more about Hei in Tahiti? Because it's not only about like traditional Tahitian dance competition, but there's also like traditional sports and other cultural
of course, it's a big event. You have then the culture, but you have the sports. You have the va'a, the canoe. You have the traditional sports, and then it's the event who we have all the community of the island. Yeah, from the Tuamotu, Austral, Marquises, to come in Tahiti, in Faafaite, and we make the competition, all the competition, and we win. We have a lot of prize for all the members.
So it seems that this festival brings all the Tahitian together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You have some, how do you say that? Some American, Mexican, Chinese too, Taiwanese. We can open the contest for the people. They come outside, but we can have only a few persons, not too much. Maybe 10 persons. So
this festival is actually for the local people?
Locals, yeah, but we can open.
So back to the Tahitian dance, as a very important Polynesian culture.
Yeah.
Can you share how Tahitian dance was born?
Oof.
Yeah, just briefly, the history.
Yeah. Oritaiti first was used during the ceremony, okay? And we have the woman, then Tapairu. Tapairu is the beautiful dancer, and there are the dancer only for the big ceremony on the mare. The mare is a sit when you pray. And after we have the man. The man is like a warrior, okay? They say that Aito. And then we have two groups. And sometimes we have together some dance very sexual, okay? But when the missionary arrived in Tahiti, it was allowed. Then all the people can dance like before the time. And then we must create some dance very serious. Yeah, with a long dress, with a long dress. And then the Oritaiti was born at the moment. And after, we can realize that finally we lost the culture and the dance. That's why we can create some cultural establishment. That's it, like a conservatory, and we have some museum, we have some theater, and then we can create some dance, more traditional, some contemporary show too. Okay, and then the Tahiti is today we can make the competition and we can make the exhibition. That's why today the Tahiti is all around the world. That we have some Tahiti in Japan, in Hawaii, and now we have a big family of Tahiti now.
So in the ancient society, is everybody needs to learn a Tahitian dance, no matter whether which status you are.
No, you can dance if you are at a level of the community. Okay, then the people are not obligated to dance the Tahiti. Before and now too, but we learn at school the Tahiti for the children.
So there's a lot of like Tahitian dance school right now in Tahiti?
Yeah, we have a lot Tahitian dance school now. We have a lot, and we have too a lot of young of children. They would like now to dance, to make the music and to sing too.
Yes, and that's very important for the future generation. Yes, and since you're like Tahitian dance, you need to sing Tahitian songs and music.
Traditional songs.
Yes, and but because you are like official language is French, and how do you learn Tahitian language, no matter different age?
Yeah, first we learn the language. Reo Tahiti, Reo Pomtu, Reo Maohi, inside the family first. And after we have the school, and after we have the Heivatu to create and to learn the language.
So for you, Tahitian dance, what's the meaning of Tahitian dance for you personally?
The story, the tradition, and the memories of my parents and my grandparents.
So you learn from your parents and your grandparents. That's cool. And can you just briefly introduce the basic movements of Tahitian dance, like female and male?
We have the step. The first step is the Tahiti Tamo, when you move.
Your hip swinging?
Yeah, okay. And after, for the boys, we open the legs. This is the Paoti, the Tahiti Tamo Paoti. And after, for the girls, we have the Fa'araku, when you turn, make some circle. And the boys, we have the Taparuru. We have a lot of steps, but you must respect the step, the traditional step first, and after you can use the step and create some modern steps.
And as you mentioned that there's Otea and also Aparima, so there's a lot of like different category.
Yeah, it's two different categories. We have the Otea with the percussion, with the music, and the Aparima is on the music with the guitar and the ukulele and the kala. We don't separate that, because for me it's important to tell the story by the Otea and the Aparima. It's different for the dance, then we need to work together for the signification of the story.
So, so the drummer is also the kind of the key person of the whole performance, right? I mean the music. The musicians.
Yeah, because inside the show that we have the music, and the music give the basic for the story of the show. Then if we have only the dance with the hand, with the movement of the body, we need the music, because the music give them the rhythmic and the energy of the show.
Can you share with us about some music instruments?
Yeah, it's necessary to share the traditional music because all the story of the music have memories of the story inside, and you must use the traditional, and after we can create.
And so, as you mentioned, that guitar and ukulele is kind of like the foreign like in musical instruments. It's come from other countries.
Yeah, the ukuleles come from Spain. Yeah, then before we don't have a guitar, ukulele. We have only some instrument with the skin. Yeah, with the skin. Then and we have only the vivo is like a bamboo, and you can make some.
Use the nose to play.
You use the nose for playing the music. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's same as Taiwan's.
Yes.
Yeah, Taiwan musical instrument.
Yes, and you have too some instrument with the bamboo. Then finally we have some similitude.
Yeah. And is this your first time to come to Taiwan? So you also have exchange with indigenous people, indigenous musicians in Hualien. So how do you feel?
It was great because we can understand the story and understand the rhythmic of the music. And then we can make a comparison with an analysis with the Tahitian culture. That it's very great.
And how Tahitian dance, just like you mentioned, that Heiva is not only in Tahiti.
Yeah, we have the Gurata-Pairu.
Yeah,
you know, the
and also in other countries. So how Tahitian dance strengthen the connection with Austronesian countries?
Is the story is the migration that, okay? Because finally, when you know the migration, you build a culture by the navigator, okay? And then we have now some sister and brother inside the culture. And we have the Uriteiti, we have the Hula, we have the New Zealand with the Maori, and finally we create a community of the ocean, the Pacific Ocean.
And I think that's Hei Tahiti. You come to Taiwan.
Yeah.
It's an amazing encounter.
Yeah, because for the group is the moment for create some new community maybe. Because with the migration, maybe we have a brother and sister in Taiwan, maybe.
Yeah. I believe that you have found your brother and sister here in Taiwan. And thank you so much for your sharing today. And hopefully bring more exposure to it, and so that more people will willing to learn Tahitian dance. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
Maruru. Thank you.
推动台湾的森林疗愈，农业部林业署委托台湾森林保健学会建立森林疗愈培训平台，并制定森林疗愈师认证制度。初步已培训34名森林疗愈师获得证书，未来还要推动国家证照认证制度。预计2025年就会有国家证照的森林疗愈师，但森林疗愈在台湾民众了解吗？
森林疗愈呢，目前在台湾来说，其实我们会运用在这个所谓的预防、保健跟复健的阶段。那我们呢还在努力持续当中，因为其实森林疗愈也是属于所谓的绿色的这个照护一种辅助医疗的替代疗法。
部落族人努力结合周边的森林资源，发展部落小旅行、生态导览以及食农教育等等，搭配森林疗愈的概念和趋势，如何结合到既有的部落旅游产业当中？
原乡地区的话，其实比较多会面临的就是在区位的条件，就是可能就路途比较遥远啊，或者是说设备上面可能比较没有那么完善，包含解说牌的说明，或者是说 步道的安全性的考量，这都是在部落上面比较会有挑战的地方。
除了要设定这个对象之外，还有目的性。所以说，这个新的疗愈场域，我们会希望是针对银发，因为大家都知道进入山林有很多银发族群，他们可能在这个走的部分呢，可能没办法那么长时间。但是我们多设置一些可能在游憩的场域或是休息的场域。
部落要推展森林疗愈，还有哪些要注意的地方？更多有关森林疗愈的精彩内容，不要错过本周3晚间的世代对话。
经典战争的历史情节，
罗密欧事件呢，引起1867年的6月，美国太平洋海军舰队被我们的排湾族打败了。美国的报纸有大幅的报道，
穿山越岭的人文情怀。
伸手之处呢，看到在雨中的头颅骨摆在那边，雨水啊，沿着头颅滴下来，好像头颅也在潸然的流泪。
自然生态牵引的文化演绎，
鹿野棕熊，比如说他发现了像球背象鼻虫。台湾其实没有球背象鼻虫，但是却出现在菲律宾为主。
跨越时代族群人物的刻画，
其实台湾的民众不能接受，为什么一个外国人要让我们的女生受教育？汉人的女生进去的比较少，反而像李乐这样子平埔的女生，她比较有机会进来学校就读。
每周日晚间10点，朱国珍、
史仲山
带您深入阅读原住民族的世界。
Welcome back to Ita See the World. In last section, we talk about traditional Tahitian dance culture. And right now, we are continue to know more about different aspects of Tahitian culture. And today, we are very honored to have amazing guest from Tahiti. She's Moeata, Galenon, and she's the first female Maori navigator on the traditional canoe. And she's also the crew member of Faafaite. And she sailed from Tahiti to Aotearoa in 2019 without using any instruments. So, Yorana, Moeata. Yorana. And first, can you introduce yourself and say hi to our audience first?
Yes, hello, hi. My name is Moeata Galenon. I have been sailing on our traditional canoe, Faafaite, since 2010, when the canoe actually was built. It was really love at first sight, and I haven't stopped sailing since then. Yeah.
As a first female Maori navigator in Tahiti, can you share with us how you start this journey and who inspired you to, continue this ancient culture?
I think as maybe many people in Tahiti, we are looking for our roots because history has been forgotten. With colonization, we have lost a lot of our history because it was an oral history. We have lost a lot of our cultural practices, our traditions.
Yes.
And so since I was young, I was looking for something that would get me closer to my roots and my ancestors. My source of inspiration is my grandfather, who's Tahitian born, and he was a fisherman. So the sea was very important to him, and he taught me about the sea. So from a very young age, I was very, very attracted by the sea. I cannot live away from the sea. This is not possible for me. And then I have seen the Hawaiian canoe when it came to Tahiti, because it came many times. And one year it came, I was 15 years old, and they came to my school. And because I was fluent in English, they asked me, my professor, my teachers asked me to answer their questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, talked and that was my first interview.
Your first interview.
And I asked them, who are you and what are you doing here? So they said, oh, we came on a sailing canoe. And I was very intrigued. And I remember to myself thinking, wow, one day I'm gonna do this. And naturally, when this opportunity for Tahiti to have a canoe, this man, his name is Dieter Paulmann, he's German, and he wanted to give canoes to Polynesian people because he understood that those canoes were not existing anymore. And he had this project to have islanders sail on their ancient canoes to talk about the Pacific Ocean, which is the biggest and the strongest ocean on our planet, and yet it's the most threatened ocean with overfishing, with the rise of the ocean, the water, and with plastic consumption. So thanks to him, we ended up having a canoe in 2009, 2010. Yeah. And when I heard about this canoe, I didn't think, I just went right away I was lucky. Those canoes were built in Aotearoa, and I was lucky to be part of the little group that went to see the canoe for the first time when they launched her on the water. Yeah, and it was, like I said to you earlier, it was love at first sight, and I really felt like I could commit to that. I could really, and it answered my quest for my identity. It really filled this gap that I have like no other way, like no other things that I could have done before. The canoe really got me closer to my roots and to my ancestors, I believe.
So can you share more about the history of the voyaging culture in Tahiti? Because like you mentioned, this culture is not existing anymore in the history.
Yeah, it disappeared. Voyaging for our ancestors were important because also for political reasons and social reasons. You would make alliances, and so you would need to go back and forth and visit, or also to just keep the ties, the families, and there were different reasons for sailing. So after the first discovery of islands, it would be like a road, and they would come to Aotearoa, to Hawaii, to Rapa Nui, to many different islands, Samoa, Tonga, Cook Islands, and it would be like just their highway, because there's no separation between land and the sea. It's not like there's a line. For them, it's just a continuation. So this how it was, and it seems like little by little, well, when the first Europeans came to Tahiti and all those islands, and with colonization, it stopped. It stopped. Those voyages stopped.
Around when? In the history?
At least 300-400 years ago, 300 years ago.
300 years ago?
I hope I'm not saying something that's not correct. But and it was gone, and the worst about it is that the knowledge was gone. It's not just the canoes that disappeared, it's the knowledge that was gone. There are some people in the islands that still know how to go from an island to another, but in short distances. Like in the Tuamotu, there are still today people who know how to go from one place to another, even if they don't see the island at the horizon. But it's shorter distances, it's not long, deep sea voyaging, And then, so it disappeared, and thanks to Hokulea, who came back in 1976, there was a cultural renewal, and little by little, more canoes were built in Hawaii, in Aotearoa, and in different islands in the Pacific, and we had Francis Cowan in Tahiti back in the 80s, I believe, who built a canoe and sailed to Aotearoa successfully without instruments with his canoe. So he was a navigator before us, but it was always very difficult to build a canoe and keep on maintaining the canoe and sailing. So in 2010, when we got this canoe, which is not in wood, it's in fiberglass, but it's based on a traditional design. It's based on it's an ancient design. But after all, fiberglass is a good option nowadays, because then we don't cut big trees, and wooden canoes are hard to maintain. The maintenance is harder and more difficult than fiberglass, which, this canoe can live 300 years. So we're happy about it, so that we can know that this canoe can be present in our people. For generations.
Yeah. In the history, that's traditional canoe is made by the wood. It's all made by the wood?
Yeah. It's made with wood and with what we call senet, which is the coconut husk that you braid. And it's really unbreakable, and it doesn't get rotten. Yeah, and that was their lashing. They would lash the canoe, do lashings of, the planks, and that's how the canoe was put together.
Yeah. So I see that the material of the canoe is, you get it from the natural.
Yes, even the glue, some planks would be glued with sap. Yeah.
That's impressive. And if without using any instruments, the traditional canoe, how do you how do you know the direction when you're sailing?
Yeah, well, today this is how we do it. We know how to do it, but not like our ancestors, because I believe our ancestors would do mathematics without knowing they were doing mathematics, or trigonometry without knowing that. And we believe that they were way more experts at sea than we are today. But what we do today is that we know where the island or the place where we're going. We know the direction from Tahiti. Let's say we're going to Aotearoa. We know from Tahiti where Aotearoa is and the distance. And so we are going to study, first of all, the map, because when you travel, you have nothing. No instruments means no notes, no maps. Yeah, so you have to have the map
in your brain.
Everything. And then the sky, all the stars in the sky, and the moon and the
cloud.
You need to understand and to know and to remember where they're gonna rise and set. The sun and the moon rise and set every day at a different place, as opposed to the stars, which rise exactly at the same place every day, but not at the same time. So the sky changes over a period of time, and so the sky becomes actually like a calendar. It is the calendar, because a star that rises today, let's say at 6 p.m., will be rising a year from now at 6 p.m. again.
6 p.m.?
Yeah, so by the time it comes back, a whole year has gone through, So it is like a calendar. Yeah, and it is considered like a calendar.
And you also, like the navigator also named the stars, right?
Yeah. There's, you have to identify them. They are star names. And to know where they rise and set. And you would measure, you would position yourself depending on where they are. Like, let's say today is the equinox and the sun, which means the sun will rise exactly on the east. If you're going north, the sun must rise on your right.
Yes.
If it's rising in front of you, you're not going north. That's how you direct yourself. And you can do the same with the dominant swells during the day. When the sun rises, you can look at the dominant swell and see where it's coming from compared to where the sun is rising. And that gives you this angle that you must keep the whole time until the sun sets. And then when the sun sets, you can measure it again and see if you have been on the correct track or not. And then you can correct your way. You also, of course, the wind. But the wind is difficult because when the wind shifts, you have to understand that it's shifting. Whereas usually the swell, the dominant swell, is here for a little while. You use the weather, you use the moon, you use the clouds. The clouds tell you...
The clouds' color?
The clouds' color, and also their formation, and their... They tell you so many things. They can tell you if what the weather is going to be like in the next 12 hours. So you usually look at the clouds on the horizon in the morning and at night. Then it'll tell you what kind of weather you will have that night. In the morning, what kind of weather you have. And if you have clouds at the horizon that really don't move, everything else is moving, and this cloud, it's usually a cloud over the mountains. Yeah, because the earth heats faster than the sea, and it makes a condensation, yeah? And so you have those clouds that stays on top of the mountains. So sometimes, you know, if you're expecting an island to be not so far, you're almost there, and you see this cloud, and it's just not moving.
Yeah.
For hours, even for days, it's not moving. Chances are the island is right underneath. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many knowledge, hide in the nature.
Yeah. Actually, that was the beauty of it, is that our ancestors have observed for generations.
Yeah.
And I believe the observation was very, very acute. So every little thing, even the feeling of, the air on you, or the temperature of the sea, the color of the sea, everything. It's not just what you see, it's all your senses. And to learn, you have to just be out there and observe. Don't talk. Just see and hear and listen, yeah? So, and it's something we don't really do anymore today. Today we talk more than we listen. But the beauty of it is that our ancestors were part of this ecosystem. They were really into it. They would be one element of the whole thing. And the whole thing was oneness, yeah? So, it is something that we are working every day on attuning the observation. It's got to be very, 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 and so it's like going to school every day, actually. Yeah.
Yes, the sea is the school, and the mountain, and the weather, and nature is our teacher, I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would like to know that in the ancient time, does everybody sail the traditional canoe, or only the men?
Yes, well, it depended on the trips. Women would sail if a group would leave the island forever and go settle down somewhere else. Then they would need women and their animals, so they would sail because they could put many, many people on the canoe. Sometimes, that's from what we heard, they could even have 100 people on the canoe. Yeah, so they would sail with their whole village, the women and their animals and their plants, to settle down somewhere else. But we haven't heard of women who would be active like navigators or captains.
Yes. Yeah? And can you share about the journey in 2019 when you and your husband sailed the traditional canoe from Tahiti to Aotearoa? Can you share the journey with us?
We were very honored to be invited to this event that was called Tuia 250, which was a commemoration of it was celebrating the dual heritage from 250 years of the arrival of Captain Cook and 1,000 years of Maori navigation. And they invited us because on board of the Endeavour, Captain Cook's vessel, there was a Tahitian navigator whose name was Tupaia. And in order to celebrate him and to commemorate him, that's how we ended up being invited. But the condition was that we would arrive sailing traditionally. And by then, we would, Faafaite on our canoe, we were not sailing traditionally yet. So they offered to teach us. They said, okay, we're going to teach two people from your... And the board decided that it was going to be my husband and I who were going to be the students. Yeah. So we got really lucky. We didn't choose, actually. So we were offered this beautiful gift. And we went to Aotearoa a couple of times. Our teachers, Piripi Smith and Jack Thatcher, who are both pool navigators, which means master navigators, would come also to Tahiti to teach us. And then we sailed, not knowing that this trip was a test for us. And if we succeeded in arriving to Tauranga in Aotearoa, we would become navigators. We had no clue, although they had told us, but we never realized it. So it was really funny because during the sail, our teacher, Piripi, was sailing with us, observing us, testing us. And sometimes he would say, you know, I want you guys to pass the test. And we were looking at each other going, what test is he talking about? Yeah, but it was a tough sail. It was very cold. It hailed on a canoe. Us Tahitian, you know, we're like here. Our place is very hot, and we're not used to the cold. We're not used to the cold at all. So it was quite difficult on us, on the whole crew, the cold. It was sailing in different waters, looking at, you know, sailing in cold water too, which was, it was quite difficult at times, yeah. But it's always it's a spiritual journey when you sail like this, especially without instruments, and you're outside, night, day, day, night. You're outside. It feels like at some point you're not the same person anymore. You know, you're like a sponge who absorbs the energies of the ocean, of the stars, of the moon, and then it's like a connection of you with everything that surrounds you, and it becomes always a spiritual journey. Yeah, and I noticed that there is always a spiritual lesson. So now when I sail, I have no expectations anymore. I just know that I'm gonna get a spiritual lesson, sometimes a tough one too. But I embrace it because I think it's part of the gifts of sailing.
And I believe it's a very amazing, like, spiritual journey for you. And I wonder that does every navigator needs the test before they become the navigator?
Well, being a navigator is not just being a navigator. When you are called a navigator, but that's what our teacher told us. When on this day, they did a ceremony for us. Mm-hmm. He said, now you have a little bit more weight on your shoulders.
Yes.
And it's because in the traditional way, being a navigator is also having duties. The duty of transmission, the duty of showing the way to your people, your community. And so it's almost like you also have a little bit of a public life, you know? And so it's not just any navigator in the world. It's very different, yeah. And I believe that's why there is, at some point, a ceremony that's gonna say, okay, we're gonna make this person a navigator or not, yeah.
So before you become a navigator, you need to have a ceremony? Traditional
Not before. You need, actually, the way it works, I think, is you just sail and do show your proofs.
Yeah.
And then they decide, okay, yes, you've sailed enough, long enough, you found islands, or we've seen you with your crew, or how you, so and they I guess they've seen how my husband and I work with the canoe and the crew.
So in the Tahitian society, is there any hierarchy that does the navigator, traditional navigator, has the highest status?
Yeah, in the traditional sense, yes. in the Western world, the captain is the legal person on the canoe. Yeah. So when we go out, let's say we sail outside of our country, we have to fill out immigration forms and stuff. On these papers, the boss is the captain. Yeah. But in reality, the navigator
is the boss.
Yeah. Is the leader. Yeah.
Yes, totally different way of thinking.
Yes, it's a very different way of thinking, and it's also very. It's not just being the boss. It's a family. It's
it's a family.
Yeah, you have to sail together, because alone with this canoe, what are you gonna do? You need everybody that's gonna be in your crew. You need the cook. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. You need handy people. You need all kinds of different people. And so the people who are gonna do the voyage with you prepare themselves like you prepare yourselves, and all together we prepare ourselves as a group, so that the voyage, can be a success. But also when we get on land, when we reach land, we're able to remain like a voice. Yeah. The voice of the canoe, of our canoe.
And I want to know that what's the voyaging culture or sailing the traditional canoe for you? What's the importance for you?
Well, I believe we are ocean people. We are people of the sea.
Yes.
Our country, our territories did not stop at land. The distance between two islands is the sea between two islands is the road. It's not a separation.
It's connected.
Islands are connected, and we call all this area Te Moana Nui a Hiva, which means the big ocean, the big sea of Hiva, who is the guardian of the sea. And Te Moana Nui a Hiva goes far. We come from Taiwan, and then there was this migration, arrived in Tahiti, sailed to Hawaii, to Rapa Nui, Easter Island, to Aotearoa, and then we have this Polynesian Triangle. But this Polynesian Triangle is not a triangle, actually, because we arrived also in South America, we arrived also in North America, and now it's been proven these days, with
we're all connected.
All new discoveries, that recent discoveries, that maybe there's a connection. Of course there's a connection, because we have the ocean is it's just our second nature. And I believe that all those skills that you learn in observing made our people understand certain things, certain realities. But what happened is that they brought all this understanding on land and built their society upon this experience and those values. And you have many vocabularies from the canoe that is used on land, because it's very linked, and it's this all this understanding, that was used to create even the political organization of our country. And now we don't sail anymore. So if we don't sail anymore, and that's the sea, and all this knowledge is where we come from, then there's a break, And that's why, to me, I believe it's very, very important to come back to this, because it's your basis, it's your foundation, and the foundation has to be there for you to decide what you want to do in life, But yeah, and also, I believe it brings back self-esteem. And I believe that many of our youth lack self-esteem.
Yes.
And maybe navigation can be a solution in that sense. Yeah.
Yes, because like you mentioned, every indigenous youth, they have to find the self-esteem and also the self-identity. Yeah, and I think that the navigating, the voyaging culture could be one of the way to find themselves.
Yeah. But I believe also that it's the time to excuse ourselves to be who we are, Or the time, it's gone this time. today, all of us, you know, you're all indigenous people. We have the right to say, this is my beliefs, this is my traditions.
Yes.
And it works. And it works in my life, and it works in my society or for my community. And we can start from there and keep traditions going. And we think it's important, and we don't have to explain why, because this is it, you know. And I think today we have the right to say this. We have been apologizing for so many years, you know. And so that's it now. And I believe that navigation makes us stronger about this, because we talk from experience. We don't talk because we read in a book. We talk because we have lived this, yeah? And that's how it gives you more self-esteem. It's because you have done it. You know, like we say in Tahiti, you need to put your hands back in the ground, or, you know, or, yeah, meaning you need to do the work.
Yeah.
So that you understand things, and then you can talk and stand tall on your feet.
You have to live the culture instead of learning from the books, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And since your first time to Taiwan, because Taiwan is also an island, and we also have indigenous peoples that live in the east coast of Taiwan, and also Orkney Island, our Dao people, yeah. And they also have the voyaging culture. So there's many like similarities between Tahiti and also Taiwan. Why?
Yeah, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. And it was, for my husband and I, it was very important to be here. And I hope one day we can, well, bring the canoe is going to be a big project. But at least if we can bring our crew at first, yeah, and who knows, if we can bring the canoe, it would be even greater. But we're here because our history started here.
Yeah.
And now we understand that actually there's the same situation here. The knowledge of navigation is gone. Yeah, it's not practiced anymore. And so we're very interested in knowing people, in meeting people, and talk about this. And yeah.
And yeah, we expect that there will be more collaboration with you.
Yes, definitely.
And also the association, with the association. And thank you so much for sharing with us today. We learned a lot from your experience, and hope one day we can visit Tahiti,
yes,
and interview the more voyaging culture with you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Maurururua.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Hey,